thing today. We're talking this morning about the exact cause of Whitney Houston's death. It's not yet known. The coroner has held a number of press conferences, but literally will not say anything specific. It seems that her life may have ended the way that many other Americans have died. Death from a prescription drug overdose is a definite possibility, and it has more than tripled since 1990. According to the CDC, 12 million people are taking prescription drugs for no medical reason at all. Republican Congresswoman Mary Bono Mack of California joins our panel this morning from Washington, D.C. She's been holding hearings on prescription drug abuse. When we were at CPAC, we had a chance to chat with her about this issue, which is very near and dear to your heart, I know. Nice to see you this morning. Thanks for being with us. And I want you
for having me.
Talk to me about your personal attachment to this, because I didn't realize that you had a son who really struggled with addiction issues.
Right. I actually have had multiple family members who've struggled with prescription drug abuse, and I've witnessed it. I've been through it. I've seen how devastating it can be. You know, it is the fastest growing epidemic in America right now, is the prescription drug abuse epidemic.
How difficult was it to be the mother in terms of sort of how society and people around you, were they helpful, or did you feel like you were getting a lot of support?
Soledad, that's such a great question. You know, I think as a mother, you think that it's your fault, that it only enables it and makes it worse. But for me, I used to kind of feel sorry for myself that it was my son, and it's so hard because as a mother, you love your children so very much. But any family member who has a loved one who struggles with addiction can tell you it's equally as painful. But, you know, I think no more so than ever when it's on children. I think that if parents are using, then children suffer the most.
It was interesting to see the statistics. 7.7% of teenagers report using prescription medicine for non-medical purposes. More teens abuse prescription drugs than any other drug besides marijuana, apparently more than cocaine, more than heroin, more than meth, in fact, all three of those combined. Are they just getting it? I mean, is it just they're getting it from their parents and that's easy access?
You know, Soledad, that's an easy thing to think. A lot of people were saying they get it from Granny's medicine cabinet or something. But look, this epidemic is well beyond getting it out of some, family member's medicine cabinet. There's no doubt that there are holes in the supply chain. There's no doubt that people are pharmacy and doctor shopping. They're going around from pharmacy to find a pharmacist who will fill a prescription. Doctors necessarily aren't on top of it. You know, one of the things that I'm promoting is prescriber awareness, that doctors need to become a little bit more trained and aware of the abuse abuse prevalence of some of these very, very powerful narcotics.
After Whitney Houston's death, Tony Bennett got on stage at the very party where she was supposed to appear, and he basically called for the legalization of drugs. And to me, and I don't want to take you off topic, but it seemed like he was missing sort of that actually many of the people he was discussing really had prescription drugs in their past. It was more of a struggle with prescription drugs than going to the corner to, and deal with the dealer on the corner.
Look, many of these prescription drugs are just almost heroin in a pill, and they're legal, and people are dying. You know, currently today, as we speak, throughout the course of the day, over 20 Americans will die. Well, actually, over 50 Americans, will probably die from some sort of overdose. If 50 dolphins washed up on the shore of America every day, there would be such outrage and such a clamor for somebody to attack this problem head on. And I think that's what we need to do. Legalizing drugs is not the answer.
How did your son beat it? And what are you calling for in your legislation?
Well, I have a number of items in legislative form, and some that are more conceptual, and some are putting pressure on the DEA and the FDA. But in my son's case, and he's not the only one in my family, but my son was very courageous. He got into rehab 3 times. He's working on his sobriety and his recovery. But addiction is a lifelong disease, much as is cancer. And he will be battling that addiction for the rest of his life. And he's very courageous for doing it. My hat's off to anybody who's working on their sobriety. But prescription drug abuse is the fastest rising epidemic, and we really need to go straight on at it. Again, I have a prescriber education bill. I also have a bill that would simply limit access to OxyContin, which is one of the most powerful narcotics on the market. Originally, it was approved by the FDA for late and very severe cancer pain. Over the course of time, doctors started prescribing it for anything at all.
What's this, OxyContin?
OxyContin,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? When I had dental surgery, that's what I was given for dental surgery, which
but Soledad, there's another important point here. America right now is so over-medicated that in the past 3 drug take-back days that the DEA has had, they have taken back 995,000 pounds of unwanted pills. You have to ask, why are 995,000 pounds of excess pills out in the market to begin with?
Mary Bono Mack joining us this morning. It's nice to see you. Thanks for being with us, by the way, last week. We appreciated that as well.
Thank you.